We continue with the halachot of koshering the kitchen. I think we spoke about ovens, the hood, everything, the stovetop. Any stovetop you have, doesn't matter if it's gas, electric, glass, ceramic, halogen, saran, there are different materials. All of them have the same rule. You clean them thoroughly or regularly, the way you clean them on a regular basis. You turn them on high for 10 minutes and you're good. Whatever is left, even if there's residue, there's stains, there's spots, no problem with that because whatever is there was consumed and destroyed by the heat. Trays, pans, all utensil dishes, they only can all be kosher for Pesach just by washing them. The only one that you cannot use for Pesach is earthenware, which most people don't use today. Earthenware are like stoneware, but the difference is that they are baked when they finish them. They bake them in low temperature, so they remain porous and they could absorb. But most people don't use them. It's low quality material. People use stoneware. Stoneware is not a problem. Stoneware is baked at high temperature and it does not absorb. What else? All appliances that you have. People I've seen in different guides of kashrut. They say that a mixer, a blender, an ice crusher, and KitchenAid, all these things cannot be made kosher for Pesach. It's complete nonsense. Sorry for the word. You wash it, you clean it, it's kosher for Pesach. They write this and they quote the Rema, Rabbi Moshe Isserles, who wrote in Poland almost 500 years ago. And he said that if the bowls and utensils that you use to make dough cannot be kosher for Pesach because dough gets stuck in the crevices. You don't have it today. If you have a KitchenAid, it's easily cleaned. Wherever any crevices that you can reach, you spray Windex into them or hot water and you're done. Same thing for a food processor. Many of the guys write that you need to buy a new receptacle. It's easy for them to write. Just buy a new one. Just buy a new. People cannot afford that. Where did they take it from? The halacha is very clear. Torah hasa al mamonam shel Israel. It's written in the Gemara. Masechet Tamid. The Gemara speaks about the different utensils that were in the temple, and the Gemara says that all the pans and all the utensils in the temple were made either from gold or silver, except for the pen. Or the utensil that was used to collect the ashes from the altar, which was made of copper. So the Gemara says, why don't you make it from gold? And the answer is because the wear and tear of the pen used for coals is very high. When you use it for incense or a flour or stuff like that, it doesn't destroy the metal. But if you would take the gold, a gold pen, and you use it to clear the burning coals from the altar, it will destroy it and you will have to replenish it on a regular basis, and that will be a burden on the public. The Torah doesn't want you to waste money. Now that speaks about the temple, that the money of hundreds of thousands of people would be donated to the temple and they could use it. Still the Torah says, the Gemara says it's a waste of money. You don't need to waste money unnecessarily. So to go and buy another pot, that's not I would say not a kosher recommendation. And if you have a reason to buy it. But if not, you don't need to do that. Okay, what else? Oven, clean it, self-clean. We spoke about toaster oven. If you have a small toaster oven, same thing. Clean it and put it on a high temperature for 10 minutes. Microwave. The microwave doesn't absorb. It's the walls are made from metal, plastic, glass. You clean it regularly. Windex is the best thing.
What if a microwave was also a convection oven? I have a combination.
Same thing. No problem. You clean it and you leave it on high for 10 minutes. You're good. If it's only a microwave, then you could put a cup of water in it, half a cup of water with some detergent, but put a wooden stick in it, because if you just heat water in the microwave, there's a problem that only the surface of the heats up and heat remains trapped in the water. So when you take it out, it explodes. It splatters. People got burned because of that. So in general, whenever you heat just water in the microwave, put a wooden stick in it to absorb the heat. So that is the rule also during the year for meat and dairy. Either you cover them, or if you need to use them in between uses and something splattered, you could clean it with Windex. If not, you don't need to do that. Refrigerator, mixer. We spoke about the urn for the hot water. No need to make kosher. Coffee machine, same thing. No need to kosher it. You use it. Doesn't matter if you use flavored coffee, unflavored coffee. No problem. Because some people say that you could only use it if you use the unflavored coffee. No flavored coffee is hametz for Pesach. The flavor doesn't come from wheat and grain. Dishwashers we spoke about. What else? Any other specific questions about utensils or dishes that you need to make kosher in the kitchen? No, so we could talk about foods.
Yeah, you said flour is not kosher.
All flour is kosher for Pesach.
So can you take it and bread chicken and cook it?
The thing is, when you bread chicken, you have to use it right away, so it doesn't have time to rise.
Right,
but
so
it wouldn't rise if you do.
it.
Technically, yes. Some people
Flour
would.
is kosher.
Oh yeah, flour is kosher for Pesach. I know there's a big, there's a myth out there
Not
that.
intuitive.
Yeah. No, it is very intuitive. I tell you why. It's not intuitive when you think of the flour getting in contact with water, but it is intuitive when you look at the powder, the final product in front of you, the powder which we call flour. How can you refer to it as hametz? How is it leavened? It's not leavened. It's grains of flour. That's what it is. The fact that water was used in the process doesn't make it hametz. Hametz is not a function of wheat touching water. Hametz is a function of the interaction, the chemical interaction that causes the particles of water and wheat, whatever, to bind, and then there's a process of fermentation, and it rises.
Won't that happen when you use it to cook?
Not within the couple of minutes, of course. When you use it, you have to be careful. If you want to bake matzah at home and you take the flour that you bought in the market and you make it and bake it on the spot, there's no problem. And like I mentioned the other day in the class, Shulchan Aruch clearly says that lo matzah kemach lokach kemach min hashuk. If you can't find kemach that was prepared specifically for Pesach, you can buy any flour from the marketplace, and that's. In the time of Shulchan Aruch, that the process was much more rudimentary, and they used more water and later on steam to grind the wheat. So there's no problem there.
Barley, the grain.
So now, okay, so we don't cook with the whole grain, barley, wheat, spelt, and rye, because when you cook, it cracks and puffs and expands. And that's why we don't use. Even if 1 grain of wheat was found in a pot of rice on Pesach, the recommendation is to throw it away. So that's why people clean rice before Pesach to make sure that there's no wheat in it. That was what?
Popcorn, for example.
No, but popcorn is corn. It's not one of the 5 grains. Okay, so we'll talk about foods. Foods for Pesach. What needs hechsher, what does not need hechsher. So, as a rule of thumb, let's start with the things that clearly do not need hechsher for Pesach. Anything that is not food and is not edible or not consumable by humans does not need certification for Pesach. That includes all disposable dishes. And I know it sounds superfluous, but you have to mention that because today they come with kosher for Pesach certification, and people ask about parchment paper because you place food on it, or aluminum foil. No need of any of those. There are some guides that say that if you use paper plates or plastic coated paper plates, they need to be kosher for Pesach, or you have to use them only with cold foods. Nonsense. It's again, whatever is there, whatever chemical agent was used during the process of making those dishes is not edible, and it's not something that you want to consume. So all these things, all non-foods, paper, aluminum, all these things, saran wrap, there's no problem with it. Detergents, same thing. You would see in lists, use only this, use only that. You don't need a hechsher on any detergent or anything like that. Personal care, any hair products or anything like that, none of that needs hechsher for Pesach. Even what people use for oral hygiene, toothpaste, mouthwash, strips, none of that needs hechsher for Pesach. Creams, etc. They're all kosher for Pesach. Except even avino, like I know people say avino comes from the word avena in Spanish, which means barley. Same thing. It's not edible. It's not consumable, right? When was the last time you put you spread avino on a sandwich? No, you don't eat it. It's not edible. Now, there's including lip balm and things that go directly on the lips. None of it needs hechsher unless you know for sure that someone in your household eats them on a regular basis, like bites the lipstick and chews it and swallows it. In which case you will need one hechsher for Pesach. Second, take this person to a doctor to see, right? No, wait. Really, before I get to vinegar, I want to speak about non-foods. I have one more thing in mind. Medicine, vitamins, and pet food. Before we get to human foods, I want to speak about that. So all medicine is kosher for Pesach. There's no non-kosher medicine, period. And it's just a waste of time every year. The Star K guide this year has about 70 pages of listing all the medicines one by one, and about 100 pages of cosmetics listed that are kosher for Pesach. What a waste! It was a waste of time, energy, and money.
Is that vitamins and supplements?
Vitamins, the same thing. Even if you know that there are hametz ingredients in the vitamins, there's no problem because they're not edible. No, you cannot eat that. The fact that you swallow it doesn't make it edible. It's not edible as food. If you would if you would take vitamins more than the daily recommended portion, it's dangerous. With the amount that, let's put it this way, if you consume vitamins the way you consume food, it will be dangerous. Therefore, it's a non-food. It's not edible. Now, pet food. This is a huge problem for pet owners. And here again, people say, so what's the problem? So switch to non-hametz food for 1 week. Someone just wrote to me an email, said that his dog has a medical condition that the kosher for Pesach pet foods do not address. So what does he do? So I told him, you could use any pet food. The pet food that you wouldn't want to use are probably dog cookies, because this is all hametz. I didn't try it myself. When I did the research on that because this is the question that people raise. The Talmud speaks about the status of hametz. When is this status removed? When something was hametz and edible, and then was left to rot or spoil or dry. When does it become non-food? Let's say a piece of bread. You leave it outside. After a while, you wouldn't be able to eat it. Milk, let's say a pasta dish or anything that is hametz. You know that if you leave it unattended, eventually it will spoil, right? So when is the marker that makes it non-hametz? The answer is pasul me'achilat kelev. Once it's unfit for a dog, it becomes non-hametz. So using that argument, people say that pet food needs to be kosher for Pesach. Why? Because it is fit for a dog. Because dogs eat it, right? It seems logical. But what we're missing here is this. When the Gemara used the term pasul me'achilat kelev, unfit for a dog, it referred to something that was fit for men, and then became unfit, and then became unfit for a dog. So it says if something had originally a status of food, in order to get rid of that status, it has to go all the way down to be unfit for a dog. Because up until that point, some people might eat it. That's the concern. It's still, some people might eat it. Yeah, I know it sounds, but there are people who eat things even when you tell them, please don't eat that. they would eat that. They say, oh, what? There's nothing, it's not spoiled. Let me finish it up. And then in the ER, they say, okay, maybe I should not have eaten that. But when it starts its life as something that is unfit for humans, then you don't need it to be unfit for a dog. Even if dogs eat it, and also have to remember that at the time of the Talmud, there was no special pet foods. They would eat leftovers, and usually those leftovers came from human food. You would not make a special canned tuna or fish for your cat. People didn't have that luxury. Cats didn't enjoy that luxury. I don't know if they are happier that way. If it's from the very beginning not made for humans, there's no concern with that. Now, the reason I said I wanted to know if it is fit for humans, if people can eat dog food. So it turns out that enough people when you Google it, there are enough people who try it, and not because of Pesach. Some people do crazy things, and they go. Someone went for a month not on dog food. The answer is it's not good for you. You could use it. People could use some types of dog food as an emergency, but if over extended periods, it's not healthy. It contains certain elements and whatever vitamins, minerals, whatever that is not good for humans. So it's pasul me'achilat adam. It never started to be good for humans. So it doesn't need to fall under the category of pasul me'achilat kelev, unfit for a dog. Therefore, all pet food, except for what is really hametz, cookies or cakes or stuff like that, does not need hechsher for Pesach. So if you have dogs, cats, in the guide I saw like specific, for hamsters and fish and all that, no need. Do you have any pets or?
I don't. My wife does.
Okay, what?
Yeah, so she goes and gets the
Kosher for Pesach.
The kosher for Pesach one.
Okay, with gebracht?
Yeah.
No gebracht.
So
did you? Okay,
It's grain free.
Grain free. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now some extension of pet food. Some people say you have to buy all the eggs that you're going to use on Pesach before Pesach, because chicken are fed with grains and then they lay eggs. The thing is, by the time it is transformed in the system, right, in the digestive system of the chicken becomes the egg, you are not deriving benefit from the hametz. That was not raised by there's no connection between the hametz or the grains that the chickens consume and and the eggs on your table. Maybe in the past where it was your farm and you fed the chickens grain and now it comes to your table as eggs, you are deriving indirectly benefit from it, but there's no reason for that also. Okay, so that is with those products. So I'll touch this very briefly, and tomorrow we'll go more into details with all the food products. You asked about vinegar, Sammy. Vinegar, wine, juice, milk, jams, jellies, oil, honey,
juices and regular
all
Coke,
juices,
regular Coke.
all soft drinks are kosher for Pesach. You don't need hechsher for them. Seltzer, water, no need for hechsher for Pesach. Now, there's a big issue for Ashkenazim because they use corn syrup, and corn syrup they consider to be kitniot. First of all, even if an Ashkenazi wants to keep the minhag of kitniot, should be no problem with corn, because corn to begin with was highly questionable. The idea to include it in the legumes category, highly questionable, because it was not around when the original decree was made, and because it was wrongly named. I mentioned this before, Turkish wheat. When it first came to Europe from South America, people named corn Turkish wheat. So it's not wheat, it's not Turkish either. Sorry, and also it's in liquid form, and not only it's in liquid form, it's mixed into the with the Coke, and it's not the majority of the mixture. So all these elements, being that the corn was not around when the decree was made, that it was a misnomer, misidentified, that it's not in its solid form, but rather in liquid form, and that it's mixed into other things. There should be no problem for Ashkenazim to use anything with corn syrup. other than health concern of high fructose corn syrup, you don't want to use. Besides that, as I mentioned several times, with the minhagim, this minhag, just as in the past, our forefathers, or 100, who knows how many generations ago, decided to switch from eating kitniot to not eating kitniot. Now that we know that the minhagim are out there, it's totally legitimate to switch from not eating them to eating them. So all
Corn
these
is not good for you anyway.
corn is not right. It's that I agree. Corn is, but milk and dairy products that do not contain chametz. Don't buy your plate with cereals on top. But cottage cheese, cream cheese, yogurt, and milk and dairy products are all kosher for Pesach.
Because the hextures that you see on them are just stamped on anyway.
There's no separate production line for those
Grain
things.
alcohol, though, is not alcohol. I'm sorry, vinegar. You said vinegar's
All vinegar that's not made from grain.
well, but most vinegar is made from.
No, vinegar is made from wine, either wine or citrus fruits, apple, not grain. If you have grain vinegar, put it aside. Obviously, I'm not referring to grain vinegar. Vinegar.
Regular white vinegar is made from grain.
No, it's made from
Really?
it's citric fruits. Check the yeah. Anyway, but if you know it's from grain, don't use it. Baruch Adonai, L'olam, Amen.